Hi everybody! It's the end of the month, so it's time to show you all the pages I coloured during July of 2024. Not as many as I would have liked to this month, as I was having problems with my filming and getting some sort of weird visual noise or flickering effects at the edges of my camera screen, which I'm still not entirely sure what was causing that. I think it was a recent update that's kind of messed up with the settings. This one I'm trying to film just using the camera on the phone, so maybe paring down will make things look a little bit better here. But anyways, enough about the problems and straight onto the pages that I coloured. The first one that I'm going to show you, this is from Fierce and Fancy Fantasy Faces, line art in grayscale by Lynn. And this one was actually a work in progress, not much of a work in progress, but a work in progress nonetheless. And I'll pop up a scan here of what she looked like before I finished her off. As you can see there's just a little bit of the berries coloured at the bottom. I think I was testing the pencils onto the paper because this is British Amazon paper, which isn't the best, and I was just testing how well my pencils would work. Not the best as it turns out, but to finish her off, I did go in with my markers as a base. And there we go, there she is. I did go in with my markers as a base. As you can see there in the background, I did the whole page with markers and just shaded a little bit on top with the pencils because they weren't working too great on the paper as is. And I've added lots and lots of glitter to this one. As you can see, I've done the whole background there, if we can get that shining. I've done the whole background there with glitter, just covered all that with the glitter glue. I think that was the Dovecraft glitter glue. And I've gone over all the outlines, all the line art, I've gone over that with the glitter gel pen after I've gone in and shaded with the pencils. I have brought in my usual white gel pen around the edges of these flowers and around her wings. And then, as I said, yeah, along all this outlining, I've gone in with glitter gel pen. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get that to actually glitter. And I can't really come in for much of a close-up because this is the phone camera. And yeah, there we go, if we can see any of the little details there. Not much detail in this one. I went full on for the glitter, just to make her really colourful and glittery for a little fairy there. She was really fun to do. It was fun to go ahead and go over all that line art with the glitter pen. It took quite a while, but I do like the effect that it's giving. The line art isn't quite so obvious, and it does glitter a little bit in the light, even though when you're filming it never really wants to show up. But yeah, it's a little cheerful, quick one there. I think just a couple hours maybe, that one with the markers and the pencils, and then yeah, going in with the glitter to really jazz her up a little bit. And the frame is just coloured with glitter gel pen as well. Just the I think those were the zebra gel pens, the glitter ones that I've got. And I'm quite pleased with how she turned out all in all, I think. So that's the first one that I coloured from the Fierce and Fancy Fantasy Faces by Lynn. Next I'll move on to Colouring Heaven. This is the Fairytopia special by Mystic Art Mirrors, or I think she's called Kristen Glorious Ink as well. And this one was one that I did on camera. Here we go, this fairy here. She's one that I actually did on camera with just some cheap acrylic paints from B&M here in the UK. It was just £1.50, I think, for like 18 or so different colours of supposed to be acrylic paint, but to me it behaved more like a poster paint. It wasn't very opaque in the end, and the blending didn't go too well, so it wasn't quite like watercolour that we could get the blending going on, and it wasn't really like acrylic where you could overlay because it was so opaque. So it was a bit of a struggle. So if you want to go ahead and watch that video and see how I struggled with this one, but in the end I just went with it and tried to work with the fact that my brush strokes were really showing there, and make it more loose and kind of painterly, and try and play into that with the background by watering the paints right down as far as I possibly could. And I did actually splash some on around the edges there as well. I splashed on some paint just to again emphasize that kind of painterly, arty sort of effect that I was going for. It was a very limited palette with green, teal and blue, I think I had in the little set there, just little tiny pots they were of supposedly acrylic paint, but yeah, I'm thinking more poster paint. I've brought in a lot of white gel pen to give her an outline because she wasn't standing out as well enough from the background as I hoped she would, so I went in and gave her that white gel pen outline and my usual kind of white gel pen highlights here and there. The wings on the butterflies I went ahead and gave a layer of iridescent medium, this Winsor & Newton iridescent medium, and I think you're supposed to just add tiny little bits of this to your paint as you're using it, but because I was using the paints straight from the pot, I just put a layer of this on top of the butterfly wings, and I think that's worked quite well. It's fairly subtle, sort of along the lines of Wink Stella, but there we go, we can see it shining in the light there. It does give a kind of silvery, maybe metallic sort of iridescent sheen to it there on the butterfly's wings, just to make them look a little bit more ethereal, I thought. And yeah, as I said, that one is a video on the channel if anyone wants to see the process I went through with that one and my struggles with the paint. But I really do like that limited palette working together there. I tried to keep the teal for her skin, the green for her hair, and then the blue for her butterflies, which again I think has worked quite well. And I do like that background. I like my kind of grungy, splashy paint background. So yeah, fairly happy with that one, I think. There we go. That one is from Fairytopia Special Colouring Heaven. Next we are moving on to Wildflower Folk colouring book by Karron. And this one I coloured just by using one of the Crayola swirl pencils. These pencils here, and some of you might have seen my Crayola swirl pencil video where I actually used these pencils and tried to use all of them to colour a picture. And yeah, it turned out okay, but I really wasn't too happy with the way they were working, with not being able to control what colour was actually coming through the pencil. So what I decided to do was just pick one of these pencils. I think the one I picked was called Fireworks, and it had red, blue, grey and black in it. As all these pencils are 4 different colours. You can see there, each pencil is 4 different colours on one pencil. That's the Fireworks one that I picked there. Red, blue, grey and black. And I just used that one Crayola pencil as if it were a drawing pencil, not really caring about what colour was coming through, just going ahead and shading my picture, and this is what we ended up with. I think she's turned out quite nicely. You can definitely see all the different colours that we had going on in that pencil. And I was just layering them on top of each other because as we have the blue and the red, when you layered them, they were giving purple, which I thought would look quite nice. Although some of the pencils in that box, they do have kind of odd colour combinations on them that I wouldn't really advise colouring over each other, so they might mix to give more muddier, sort of brownish grey colours. I do go over that in the video for this picture. I don't colour the whole thing on camera, just a little kind of overview thing, but I think she has turned out really well. I did bring in some cross hatching here in the more shady areas, again to show the different colours of the pencil and to get that deep shades going on, because as we're only dealing with the one pencil, the thing we had to concentrate the most on was getting the light and the shade going on to give the kind of 3D effect for the picture and to give some depth to it. So yeah, I was layering the pencils in the shadows, trying to get that black to come through in the shadows, the red and the blue mixing to purple in other places. And the picture itself was pretty sketchy, as a lot of the pictures in this book are, by Karron. Not many crisp black lines, they're pretty sketchy, pencil sketch sort of images. So I went with that and yeah, went with this cross hatching and tried to keep fairly loose with it. Not sure if you can see very much there, as we're just using the plain phone app. I can't really zoom in and out very well. I'd have to practice some more with that, but yeah, there we go. You can see the cross-hatching I've been using and trying to get the delicate shading coming through on her skin, dark shades in the shadowy areas by overlaying the pencils over each other. And yeah, pretty pleased with how she's turned out, and that is, I think, a better way for me to use those Crayola swirl pencils. I really wasn't getting along with them too well when I tried to use all of them in the same picture, so I think if I'm going to use them, this will be the way that I use them, and I might try a few more and just use the one and colour a picture with them and see how we get going. But that is the one that I've coloured in the Wildflower Folk book by Karron. Again, that's a video on the channel if anybody's interested. Next, we're moving on to Colouring Heaven Fantasy Pet Special. And this one I actually tried to film for you guys, the process of doing this one, because I have actually changed this picture quite a lot. But the video didn't really work very well because I used a lot of black, and that really set off the problems I was having with the camera, with lots of visual noise around all the black areas. It was really flashing, kind of like static there on the picture. So I decided that that really wasn't worth trying to salvage that and give you a video, unfortunately. But I will try and grab a screenshot to show you what the picture looked like before I went in and worked on it. And I'll pop that up here somewhere. And you can see that what I've done is I've drawn a circle around the fox there, and that is the background that I'm going to be working with. The rest of it I'm all going to be blacking out, which caused the problems with the video. But I'll show you what we actually came up with. Here we go, here's our fox here. Yeah, a lot of black, as you can see, and this really didn't work too well with the camera at the time. But what I did was I went in and I used acrylic paint just to black out the background that I wasn't really too keen on colouring. As some of you might know, I really don't like colouring scenery or backgrounds like that. So I love this fox though, but I really didn't want to colour that background. So I ended up blacking it out. This is a circle that I had drawn in. I've gone around the edges of the circle with a Sharpie and around the very edges of the actual picture just to neaten off the edges. Then I've gone in and shaded the fox with markers and pencil shading, if we can see any of him. Oh, a tiny little bit. Yeah, we can see there that he is marker and pencil shading on top of that. Lots of white gel pen, especially for the white areas of his feathers and his fur that are white especially, to get them looking quite crisp and white. For the background here, I ended up just cutting out this background. Because yeah, more scenery, and I'm really not one for colouring scenery. And from the start, when I saw this fox, I imagined him with a galaxy at the background. So this is collage paper with a kind of galaxy theme to it that I found. And this blue I really liked. It's a really nice contrast with the orange, so I wanted to put that blue kind of galaxy behind him, and I think that works really well. His waistcoat, I've used washi tape, which is almost the same as the background, which when I did the video, I was thinking, oh, this isn't really working as well as I thought because it's blending in too much with the background, but I was committed. By that point I was committed, so I just left it as is. I went around the outline with a silver gel pen, but looking at it again, I think it's working pretty well. That's almost as if he's wearing part of the galaxy, making him look more kind of magical, I suppose, maybe something like that. And I really like how he's turned out. I really like the kind of stark kind of contrast there with the black and the white and the orange and the blue. And I think, it's really simple, but really quite eye-catching. I think I can maybe lift him up a little bit. And you can see that, I haven't gone too overboard with the texture of the feathers or the fur. I just wanted to keep it fairly simple, striking, eye-catching, keeping the whole thing pretty simple. And unfortunately, I did get that on camera, but it's really not of high quality enough to edit for you guys. This black area was really a bit of a problem to film. So, but yeah, if anybody does want to see any kind of demonstration of that, drop me a line and I'll see if I can find another picture to do the same kind of tutorial with. But there we go. That is the one that I coloured from Fantasy Pet Special Colouring Heaven, and the artist for that one was Anna Prodius, the one that we did. So there we go, that's from Colouring Heaven Fantasy Pets. The next one I'm going to show you is from Colour My Sketchbook 2 by Bennet Klein. I think this one might actually be out to print now, but I managed to grab this one on eBay a couple of months ago, I think now. And I've only just brought myself to actually colouring it because these pictures are absolutely gorgeous, but they're really, really detailed and fiddly. If I can maybe show a couple. Yeah, really, really detailed, as you can see. So I finally picked up the courage to actually colour in this one. And I did find out that the paper is absolutely terrible. It is Amazon paper, and it's British Amazon paper, which is among the worst I think I've found. And this paper was super smooth. I could not get my pencils to work on that very well at all. So I ended up going more towards a collage with it. I'll show you what we've done. There we go, that's the lady that we actually ended up doing. She did actually have, when I started, a really big headdress sort of thing going on. There is a little preview picture of her, but I'm not sure I'll be able to show it to you guys on the camera. I'll see if I can zoom in. There she is, the nerd fairy there. If I can zoom in and give you a little show of what she looked like before I collaged. There we go, and this is what I actually did, because I tried to go in with pencil shading over the top of the markers. We can see the marker base there. That's as much as the basing as I got done, because by then I gave up trying to use my pencils on top of it, and I actually went straight for the collage. The paper was really, really smooth, so the pencils weren't working. And when I tried to blend with my white polychromos, as I like to do, the grey ink was just smudging all over the place, and I really couldn't get it to work. And instead of just putting it to the side and adding it to the whip pile, I went ahead and I cut a load of pink flowers out of magazines that I had around and books and things like that. I cut out all these pink flowers and made my own little version of a headdress. Her wings are the marker with glitter glue. That's Dovecraft glitter glue. I can't remember the name, but it's a pink kind of glittery one. This headline, the text I cut out of a magazine. I thought it kind of fitted in, and the colours were lovely. The colours really went with it. I went around the edge of the text there just with a Sharpie, metallic Sharpie. This background is glitter pen with the black and the yellow. That's all glitter gel pen. Gold Sharpie for her glasses with a few little white gel pen lines to try and give that glassy effect. And yeah, I was really happy with her in the end. We have a few little cut-out butterflies that I've had around for quite a while. I think they were in a bag I got from a charity shop with a load of craft bits and pieces in it that I finally got around to using. They seem to fit in quite well there with the pink. And yeah, really happy with how she's turned out. Try and lift up a tiny little bit. It's mostly collage with the glitter. Yeah, we'd have glitter gel pens in the background there. The rest is all collaged on. And yeah, with the text added. I think, did I stick any jewels on? Yes, I did. We have one there. And a couple around the frame, I think, little pink stick-on crystals. Not sure if I can make those show up, but there are some pink stick-on crystals and quite a big one there. Her dress I collaged in by cutting out the shape of her dress and putting the paper in behind. It's a glittery kind of paper there. Can't see very much of it, but it's under the text. But yeah, it is there. And yeah, keeping with those pink colours, I think that's worked really well. I'm really happy with her. And that one is from Colour My Sketchbook 2 by Bennet, Klein. I'm going to have to be a little bit creative with colouring in this one, or scan the pictures in and print them out on better paper, I think, because that paper, yeah, not very great at all. Next, we're moving on to another Colouring Heaven. I was quite heavy on the Colouring Heavens this month. This is Fairies Special by Janna or Janna Prosvirina. And this one was also a work in progress. I'll pop a picture up here of the scan I took of that one. There we go. As you can see, there's just a little bit in the bottom there with the flowers coloured in. I wanted to go back and work on this one. I think originally it was for a challenge on a Facebook group that I belonged to. And the challenge was to colour a picture using the pastel colours. So I coloured all that with the Astra Pastelo pencils just to test those out. And I ended up putting that one to the side because, yeah, I don't get along very well with pastel colours at all. I don't know why I keep trying to use them. But yeah, I did go back in and work on that one. And I did change the colour scheme a little bit. And this one is a video on the channel also. You can see there we've gone ahead and finished her off. I'm quite pleased with how she's turned out, and the video on the channel is how I went ahead and changed these flowers here, because after I erased the pastel pencil there was a lot of pink showing through here, but I didn't really want pink flowers. I wanted something a bit more unusual, so I went for this blue, and yeah, the pink was still showing through after I'd gone in with the blue marker. So I went ahead and shaded it with a dark blue and with a pink, which layered over and gave some pink tones and some kind of purple tones, and it was looking kind of, yeah, sort of iridescent maybe in a certain light, but I liked the way it was looking, so I made a video on that for you guys. The pink one, I put the pink marker down in the background instead of blue, but I do think that I chose a slightly too dark pink there. We could have done with a lighter pink, more along the lines of this pink we have in her wings here, but it's worked okay. I just shaded that with the same dark blue and pink colours. And it was giving me kind of a vintage vibe, this picture, especially with the lady's hairstyle, which I thought looked like a 1940s kind of hairstyle. Vaguely reminded me of it. So I tried to keep the colours kind of subdued and desaturated to go with that vintage feel. I added some yellow chalk pastel, kind of ochre colour chalk pastel into the background there. The two butterflies, there were originally two butterflies drawn onto there, but I did have these butterfly stickers that I thought worked quite well there with the colours. And they do have a very thin gold outline around them, so I went around the outline of her wings with some gold watercolour paint just to tie in those butterflies a little bit more and make her wings look more like the butterfly's wings, which I thought has worked quite nicely. For her wings, I did those with a paler colour markers, a paler blue and a paler pink, and then I dabbed them with the hand sanitizer gel to give some kind of mottled, maybe watercolour effects there. Then I went in with some pencils and exaggerated that kind of watercolour-y look to maybe make her wings look quite delicate and watercolour-y, for want of a better word, and quite pleased with how it's turned out. No glitter on this one. To make a change, there is a lot of white gel pen. I used it on the flowers, to highlight on the flowers, and I went around the petals of these flowers, little blossoms she's got in her hair. I did go over the veins on this butterfly's wings with the white gel pen, but then I put some dual pastel over the top to dull down the white. I didn't want it so crisp and bright white there. But yeah, overall, I kind of like that sort of subdued colour scheme, vintagey colour scheme, hopefully. I thought I had going on there. And yeah, originally I was going to use her as a tutorial for colouring hair, but I ended up going ahead and just finishing her all off. So I will pick another lady to colour to show you how I do hair when I do get around to that one. But that is the lady from the Fairies Special Colouring Heaven by Janna Prosvirina. Next, we're moving on to Winged Fantasy Special Colouring Heaven. This one is by Adele Lorienne. And there's two that I've worked on this month here. I'm going to save the best for last. The one I'm saving for last is actually my favourite that I've done this month. But I did work on one for a tutorial in here. I haven't quite finished her yet, but this is the lady that we worked on for our tutorial for how I colour black feathers. And this side I did just with using pencils. I still need to go ahead and finish her off, but I haven't quite yet, but I'll show anyway because I have worked on her. And this side of the wings I used with using markers as a base in the background. I tried 4 different markers there, using the same pencils on top as I used here to see what the difference is. There is actually 4 different markers used there, giving slightly different effects, just as a visual reference really for myself, if nothing else, just to test out those different markers. And this side, as I said, just the coloured pencils. I did add in this background here just with a stencil. I thought she looked a bit plain there on her own in the middle, so I added in the leaves in the background, just coloured them with a marker. Her skin and her hair is, I think, marker based. Yeah, skin and her hair is marker based and then pencil shaded. And I went ahead and worked on the black feathers there for my little tutorial I had. And to show you, what I think is my favourite picture that I coloured this month. And here's actually a buddy colour, this one, with my colouring friend Emma Harvey. I'll turn him around because it's landscape kind of format, and he's my favourite one I have actually coloured this month. I really love how he turned out. I wanted him to be super cheerful and colourful, so I've based him on a blue and gold macaw. I'm giving him the really deep blue feathers here with the brighter blue, and then brought in the green and the yellow to make him really cheerful and bright like the parrot. The background I've done sort of given a bokeh effect with using colourless blender on top of the marker in the background to make him look as if he's up among the trees in the Amazon rainforest, maybe like a real little parrot. The rest of him, he's just marker base with pencil shading. See there? Marker base with the pencil shading on top of that. And a lot of stick-on crystals. We can get those shining there, because there was a lot of little circles drawn there on his wings and in his hair here, and I just stuck these crystals on for the contrast between the blue and the yellow. The kind of orangey yellow there to give that little bit of contrast, a little bit of sparkle to him. And yeah, I just love it. He's so bright and cheerful, and I love the way this background's turned out with that sort of cheaty bokeh effect there that I had going on, and I do love how it turned out. As I said, this one was a buddy colour with my lovely colouring friend Emma Harvey, but she hasn't finished hers yet, unfortunately, so I can't show you what hers look like. What I might do is save this one to show again next month. And if she has completed hers, I will show both together so you can see both versions of this little guy together. I think he's called Zephyr. Yeah, he's called Zephyr. So you can hopefully see both versions of our little Zephyr next month there next to each other. And yeah, as I said, I love how he turned out. He's my favourite for this month. I love the way I've given him the white face like the parrot, and that really stands out with all those colours around it. And yeah, I love him. But I will stop gushing now. And I'll tell you my theme for next month, as next month is my birthday month. and I won't actually be here for much of the month next month. We're going away on holiday. So I'm going to take as a theme, I'm just going to take my favourite artist because it is my birthday month. My favourite artist is Jasmine Becky Griffiths, so she's going to be my theme for next month. I'm going to try and colour as many pictures as I can from my favourite artist. I think I do have a couple of whips I could maybe finish off from her as well, so that will work in quite nicely. And then whatever I manage to take away with me on holiday, that will be part of my colouring video next month. But those are all the pictures that I have managed to colour during July of 2024. So hopefully you've enjoyed looking back at all these pictures I've managed to colour. If you have enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you in future videos. Bye!